I've never felt unsafe. I've never felt uncomfortable in the airplane. And also knowing that we just have a brand new panel in the airplane, he's always told me you have to trust your instruments.
Hey guys, welcome to Aviate 58. I've been a pilot now for over 30 years and I've owned this Baron 58 behind me for over 18. Today I'm going to review my Sun and Fun IFR departure that I posted in my previous video. I'm going to discuss my aeronautical decision making and in hindsight make any note of anything I would do differently. I think this is an important exercise to run through and I hope we all can take something from this video. So let's get started. After starting the engines, we listened to the ATIS. We entered our flight plan, got our clearance, and taxied to the end of the runway to do our run-up. I just want to point out to everyone that I do use a checklist on every flight. Here is mine. Once our run-up was complete, I contacted the tower, let them know we were ready to depart. So let's go flying.
Transfer Charlie Lima, turn right heading 360, runway 27 left, clear for takeoff.
Right turn 360, clear for takeoff, 23 Charlie Lima. Alright, ready?
I am.
Good. We'll be in the clouds a little bit, but it won't be much.
November 8, Uniform November, runway 27 left, clear for the option. Traffic departs by arrival bearing.
Alright, Baron, inside 27 left, clear for the option. Test 1 Uniform November.
Airspeed's alive, everything's good. Temperatures are good.
Right here I start my right turn to the 360 heading given to me by the controller. I've been asked in the comment section why I started my turn so early with so much of the runway remaining. My answer to that question is that the runway at Lakeland is 8,500 feet long, and I saw a clearing between the clouds that was going to keep us VFR.
Transfer Charlie Lima, contact Tampa departure today.
Over departure, 23 Charlie Lima. Tampa departure, Baron 423 Charlie Lima is checking in with you off Lakeland.
As I am reducing power, I see the fuel pressure on the left engine at 0. So I immediately flip the tower frequency back to Lakeland.
Lakeland 23 Charlie Lima, I gotta come back. No fuel pressure.
At this moment, should I declare an emergency or not?
Lakeland traffic, Baron 23 Charlie Lima, I gotta come back. I have no fuel pressure on my left engine.
November 3, Charlie Lima, Roger, you can enter the right downwind runway 27 left. You have the airport in sight?
Yeah, I'm in sight, 23 Charlie Lima.
November 3, Charlie Lima, Roger, runway 27 left, cleared to land, and are you able to make it to the runway?
Yes ma'am, I've got power, I just have no fuel pressure.
November 3, Charlie Lima, Roger, you're cleared to land, runway 27 left, wind 310 at 4.
So if and when we ever have an issue, the very first thing we are taught as pilots is to aviate, navigate, and communicate. In the moment, I feel I did this pretty good. I flew the airplane, turned to the airport, and let the tower know my intentions. Number 2, I should have briefed my passenger to the situation a little better, who just happened to be my wife. Only after watching the video footage and seeing the expression on her face was then that I realized this. Always brief your passengers and get them involved if at all possible. Number 3, troubleshooting, boost pump, checklist, passenger involvement. This is an area that I definitely could have improved. Number 4, my gear and flaps. During this flight, I probably put the gear down and flaps down a little early, could have waited a little longer, even though I had the airport runway made almost at all times. At this moment, I was looking over to my right at the Lakeland Airport. The controller cleared us for a right downwind for 27. Due to my airspeed, altitude, and both engines running, I knew we could land on runway 23 if necessary. I'm preparing for the left engine to quit, staying close to the airport on downwind, keeping my altitude just under the cloud base to stay as high as possible but visual with the runway.
Well, at least it happened in the beginning.
Yeah.
500.
It's just a gauge issue, I'm telling you, because it's running fine. Alright, 3 green, full flaps mixture.
Backup gauge? You don't have a backup gauge for
Time for
fuel?
that.
58 Uniform November base, turn your discretion, runway 27 left, clear touch and go.
This is a full stop for Uniform November, clear turn to the base.
November 8 Uniform November, roger, runway 27 left, cleared to land.
27 left, clear to land, 1018 Uniform November.
November 8 Uniform November, and there is emergency aircraft that's going to proceed onto the runway, so continue and expect to go around.
Roger, continue on 27.
San 3 Charlie Lima, exit, can you make Alpha 3?
Alpha 3, 23 Charlie Lima.
Number 3 Charlie Lima and safe parking.
I'm going to go back to Shell and see if I can figure out what's wrong.
Number 3 Charlie Lima, roger, you can taxi via right turn Alpha Juliet into the ramp. The fire truck's probably going to follow you into parking.
Okay, I didn't really have an emergency. I just had fuel pressure. I need to come back, so, but I'm good.
Number 3 Charlie Lima, roger, we went ahead and declared one for you just to be safe, so we're going to follow you into the ramp.
Roger, 23 Charlie Lima.
When I contacted the tower to return back to the airport, I never did declare an emergency. Returning was for precautionary reasons only. Flying a twin, we are prepared to fly on one engine, and at no time did I feel Kelly and I were in danger. So after landing, I got an escort from the fire truck to Shelled Air. I was met by an FAA employee at the airplane. He took photos of the airplane, my licenses, and contacted me a few days later, requesting a copy of my logbook entry from M Aviation for the repair made prior to the airplane being placed back into service. All this sounds scary to a pilot, but in reality, it's just a procedure to protect us, and it was a simple process. So the question, should I have declared an emergency or not? I personally do not believe there's a right or wrong answer for my scenario. We were able to stay VFR under the clouds, both engines were running fine, and we were basically still in the pattern at Lakeland. If we would have been in the clouds or having any engine issues, I would have absolutely declared an emergency immediately. So I hope everyone got something from these videos. Just remember, declaring an emergency, going through the process is really no big deal. The controllers, firemen, and the FAA are all there to help us and keep us safe. Thank you for all the comments. Please subscribe to our channel, leave us some messages below, and we'll see you next time. So Kelly, in our previous video from Sun and Fun, when we were flying, when we took off from Sun and Fun heading home, I had a lot of comments, questions. People were asking me your real thoughts. They were asking me if you're afraid to fly. They were asking me, were you terrified? They were asking me, again, do you like general aviation? So after I had her watch the video again just a few minutes ago so she could see her expression, see how she looked as we were recording and on our way home. So what are your thoughts?
Yeah, well, I think there was a couple things going on at the same time and things people didn't see. For starters, I wasn't feeling very well, and I was extremely exhausted from a very, very busy work week. So I was very quiet. So I'm not afraid of flying. I absolutely love to fly. In fact, I eventually would like to get my pilot's license. So I enjoy every aspect of flying and airplanes and aviation and all of that. The weather was bad, so going into the airplane to begin with, I already knew that the ride was going to be bumpy. I knew that there was lots of clouds and that we might have a little bit of difficulty, or it might just be a more challenging flight. I know a lot of other people who had left Sun and Fun were having trouble getting out and were trying to get in between clouds and such. So I think that alone just makes me a little nervous, but not enough to not trust my husband. I've never felt unsafe. I've never felt uncomfortable in the airplane. And also knowing that we just have a brand new panel in the airplane, he's always told me you have to trust your instruments.
So what was your thought when?
So my initial thought, like what happened when the pressure gauge went to 0 and wasn't reacting, I was very nervous. I wasn't afraid, but I was very nervous, and I knew just to stay quiet because he needed to think and react properly. He didn't need to babysit me if I was going to be just, unmanageable. there was nothing I could say to change the situation, so I just remained quiet. And then I knew that he was going to be talking to the control tower, so he needed to hear exactly what they were saying. And we didn't exactly know what was going on in the process, or at least I felt that way. I also felt like we had just put in this panel, so why is something going wrong? But because we have 2 engines, we can fly on one. I have never done that before, so new experience. But I knew that the Baron 58, it's a very safe plane. And in this kind of situation, it is still very safe when it's just running on one engine and one prop. So
Very good answer. So next question. A lot of people were asking, did we set this video up? Was it fake?
Oh gosh, no.
So what happened? So what happened after we landed?
So after we landed, the control tower had called. They declared an emergency. So that was kind of a new experience for me, to see all of the emergency vehicles behind our plane and following us as we taxied into where we needed to be.
So how did you get home?
How did I get home? I got on a commercial flight.
So
I had to go to work. I have a very, very busy work week, and I run a bakery. I own a bakery, and I had to be back that day because I had to be up at 4 o'clock in the morning the following day. So I had no choice but to get home, and we weren't sure exactly, number one, what was really going on, and number two, if it could be fixed right away, because as we all know, when we try to fix our airplanes or really anything, it always takes a little bit of time, or they need to order a part or whatever the case may be. So Tony was going to stay back, and I needed to get to work, and so I took a commercial flight.
yeah, we bought her a commercial flight home, and on my way back, Double M Aviation in Lakeland called and said that they figured out what the issue was and they fixed the airplane. So I went back to the airport and pre-tripped and met with them, and then I ended up taking off the same evening, and I got home a little later than Kelly. But I just wanted to, there was some comments about if we staged this with all the cameras, and just wanted to point out that this was a serious situation. The expression on Kelly's face says a lot of it, and we did put her on a commercial flight to get home, and then fortunately I was able to get home probably about an hour after she did. She beat me a little bit, but Double M Aviation, I do want to get a shout out again to them. They did a great job. They fixed it really quick, and wouldn't have got home as soon as I did, especially with Sun and Fun, leaving Sun and Fun and all the activities and how busy everything was going, and they immediately looked at the airplane for us. So, but
yeah, everybody was very helpful. I think I was just nervous because it was a new situation, and anytime you go through something that you've never been through before, it's going to be a little bit uneasy. But again, I didn't not trust the airplane. I never felt like, I was in
any
danger. Yeah. So I just felt it was just uncomfortable. It was just natural. And I knew I needed to get home, and I was so tired.
Yeah.
All I wanted to do was go to sleep, and I was looking forward to a little nap time in the airplane, which I didn't get.
So that goes with some of the comments we're saying, even when before the flight, she looked like she was very nervous, but you were very tired.
I did not feel good, and I was exhausted, and I really just had a horrific, I just really had a very busy work week, and I knew I had another one right in front of me. So
plus, so you had your busy work week. You flew to Sun and Fun. We spent 4 days in Sun and Fun,
walking around, getting sunburnt.
Yeah. So it was a long week overall. She was just ready to get in the airplane.
Yeah.
Get a nap on her way home.
Yeah.
And but unfortunately that didn't happen.
Yeah, but I enjoy flying, and I always will, always have, and so I look forward to our next adventures together.
So keep an eye out for our next videos coming up with both of us together
Yep.
on AV858.
Yep. See you then.